We are back. Let's see. And we're live. Are we live? There we go. We're live. We just went live. Sweet. Let's do this. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, so I was feeling sick this past week, which is why I decided not to do any streaming. Just to try to preserve my health. Of course, still not feeling 100%, but you gotta do what you gotta do, so can't miss a Mewtwo Monday. Let's see what else. I did actually come up with a video idea, which I need to start working on soon. I think I'll keep that hidden for now. I mean, it's always a good idea to have something in your back pocket, just in case you ever get more than 2 viewers. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm bringing back the random topic generator from last time because I figured it was a good way to get me to actually talk instead of just kind of sitting here in awkward silence listening to the music. So yeah, let me pull that up and we will start answering the questions. Alright, number 1. What do you think about game shows? Do you have a favorite one? I'm generally a pretty big fan of game shows. I like all your standard ones. Let's Make a Deal, Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy. I like most of like the prime time midday ones. I'm not as big a fan of like the more prime time ones, but otherwise, I'm generally down for game shows. Favorite game show, probably Jeopardy, just because I think it's probably the show I'd be able to do the best on. So naturally, I guess I'd have to go with that. But yeah, generally positive opinion on game shows, I think. Next question. Whoa. How should success be measured? And by that measurement, who is the most successful person you know? That is certainly an interesting question. How is success measured? And who is the most successful person I know? I would say success is measured by not necessarily the people you surround yourself with. It's like the quality of the people you surround yourself with. Like, I guess in my mind, success is having that family, supporting family, having those friends that like really support you in your dreams, I guess. Dreams, opinions, goals, whatever. And the most successful person I know based on those standards. I think that's a hard one. Mostly because trying to get into this business means I'm not really hanging out with people. So I don't necessarily have a wide net to throw when it comes to answering this question. I mean, there's probably this one friend I have in college, in school. She seems pretty happy, pretty supportive friends. Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird question, a hard question to answer. Have you ever saved an animal's life? How about a person's life? Well, I have not saved a person's life, and let's just say I failed saving an animal's life, multiple animals' lives, in fact. So I have this old truck, 15 years at least, 2008 Ford F-150, and so naturally being a 2008, a truck from 2008, it comes with problems. So one time, must have been a year ago now, over like last summer, I think, something in the fuel line, we believe, ruptured. So fuel was leaking from the engine. Naturally, not a very good thing to have happen. So I stopped driving the truck for a few months. Yeah, and this would have been like spring, summertime-ish. So naturally, living further away from like town and stuff, like definitely not in a city or anything. Having this truck sit in our driveway for months and months on end allowed for a bird to move into the wheel well. So it made a nest, it laid its eggs, and yeah, we didn't realize it had done this. So months go by. Eventually, we do manage to fix the truck. And my aunt, uncle, and cousins are going out of town, and they have a number of dogs, so they asked me to watch them. So I drive over in my newly fixed truck, now with some hitchhikers, unbeknownst to me. So I get over there, and my grandpa's there too, because he was helping work on the truck. And he was going to take one of their cars and drive off with it. So I don't know, I'm not really sure what his part of the plan was. But either way, we get to my cousin's house, and that's when I realize, wait, there's a nest in the truck. So my grandpa, he pulls it out, like he heads out, because that's the end of that. And I look at the nest at first, and it's like, oh, his must have been just a nest. I don't see any eggs or anything. But then I see a little pink speck in the middle of all the pine straw and stuff. Oh crap. And among the neighbor's dogs, or not neighbors, my cousin's dogs, they also have a cat, an outdoors cat, who got very interested in four or five, probably four, little baby birds. Like, it could not have been more than 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. Like, they must have just hatched. Like, they were little, scrawny pink things. I couldn't even, see any feathers. So now I'm freaking out because their cat is hanging around, and I've got this bunch of pine straw with a number of baby, little tiny chicks scattered around. So I'm doing my best to shoo off the cat. But the problem is, I'm outside, and to do anything with it, I need to run inside and grab some sort of container. So eventually I kind of chase the cat away. I run inside. I'm looking around the house for a container and gloves or anything I can use to pick these things up. By the time I get out there, they're all gone. The cat had managed to get every single one. Ugh, this making me shake, making me ugh, just like thinking about it again. At least it was quick. But yeah, the cat managed to get every single one. And he was like, oh, fine, okay, okay. Like, not particularly happy about it, considering what had just happened. But yeah, so later I go out to give the cat dinner. And it turns out that the cat could not handle having those little birds in its stomach. So there was a nice pile of, how should I put it, throw up, just sitting in their garage, waiting for me to come find it and unfortunately clean it up. That was not a fun day for me. So yeah, so much for saving an animal's life, but I certainly did end a few. Alright, if I could call up any one person in the world and have an hour-long conversation, who would it be? Judging from the question, I assume they would have to be a live, living person right now. Living person right now. Who would I call to have a conversation with? That's an interesting question. Certainly I'd want it to be someone, like rich or powerful or famous or something like that. Honestly, my answer might just be like Wolfie VGC. Because I mean, think about it. A free 1 hour conversation where I can like pick his brain about what makes a good VGC competitive team, and then also like video stuff. Like that doesn't sound like a bad deal to me. So that might just be my pick. Pretty simple answer, but I think it gets the job done. Next question. Ooh, I like this. How do you think traveling to a lot of different countries changes a person? For me personally, I'm a big fan of traveling. I love going around, learning about like all the different places and stuff. And learning about like how different cultures and stuff vary from our own. Here, I have an idea. I can get rid of this, and then I can just make this text smaller. I just want to make sure this isn't shiny. Okay. No, I just want. Do I just drag it? Okay, there we go. So how does traveling to different countries change a person? Well, for starters, I do think it helps like to broaden your horizons. Generally speaking, like it's always good to see how people do things in ways that aren't the same as your own. So, oops. So, yeah, I think traveling to different countries does change you just because it gives you such a different taste of life. Like you're eating from the same food every day in your own country. Traveling to a different country, like going to a different restaurant. I guess you could say there's a whole different menu, different staff, different like customs and stuff for like ordering, and it kind of forces you to expand and broaden your horizons, which I think is very cool. I'm a big fan personally of traveling. Maybe not like airplanes, like coach for 13 hours overseas and stuff, but otherwise, I do enjoy traveling and stuff. So I do think they're good. And another one. What's the worst fast food restaurant? This is an interesting one for me. I don't feel like I've necessarily been to that many fast food restaurants. I mean, been to like your Burger King, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, but like that's kind of it. Like your standard fast food restaurants, like Subway, I guess. What else is there? Is Panda Express a fast food restaurant? Like, not really sure. But I guess, in my opinion, the worst fast food restaurant is Wendy's. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been there. I mean, I just can't really get behind their menu. I mean, Frosties are fine. They're good. But, like, I don't particularly like their fries. I don't particularly like their burgers. It's like, it's really the point. I could go to Chick-fil-A if I wanted ice cream. Or just go to, like, Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen's another one. I'm very pleased with Dairy Queen ice cream. Their meals certainly leave a bit to be desired, but otherwise, I can look past that because their ice cream is kind of the main focus. If you're going to Dairy Queen, the food, I think you're going to Dairy Queen wrong. So yeah, I think that's about it for that question. This is an interesting question. Oops. Alright, let's see, records, tapes, CDs, MP3s, and streaming. Which did you grow up with, and what is good and bad about each? So, I mostly grew up with CDs. I mean, now it's mostly streaming. I mean, I think of all the different CDs I had and still have even. With all the different songs and stuff. I'll say that growing up with CDs certainly wasn't bad by any means. I guess the biggest problem with CDs is that they wear out and you can get like broken over time or lost. Like you can't always use them. Which I see, that's the biggest drawback. Eventually they wear out, get broken. I never really had a problem with losing CDs, but definitely wear and breakage were my biggest problems. So that's one of the bad about CDs. Although I guess the good thing about CDs is you always have that song now. Not kind of like streaming, where it's like if you don't have a song, then you kind of don't have the song. I mean, I guess there's always YouTube. I mean, YouTube's a bit weird with it. Like the CDs, you can buy an album and you know you're having every song on that album or track list or whatever. You don't have to worry about missing something like you could with streaming. I mean, of course, streaming, not screaming. Streaming is very. Ugh, I just stop yawning. Streaming is very convenient. And for the most part, lets it play what you want when you want it, which is nice. Although sometimes it's just kind of overwhelming because you just have so many options. I know I'm not always sure what I want to listen to. I guess if you have CDs, you kind of focuses that choice and you just put it in and start hit play, and that's what you get. Let's move on to the next question. This is a good one. What did I think of standardized tests? I mean, you ask any person in probably any level of schooling, and they'll say standardized tests are boring and bad and bleh, or whatever. I mean, I never really minded doing them, because I always did above average on them. So I never was super worried. Like I never really had to study or anything, but I guess you don't not really supposed to study for standardized tests. At least like your state-based kind of stuff, not like the ACT, SAT. Though I didn't study for that either. I got like a 33, I believe, on my first try. So I mean, yeah, standardized tests are kind of rigged, I guess, against people who struggle to take tests. But I, not being one of them, never particularly minded too much. Not all there is to say about that. So moving on. That's a good one. Following up with education stuff. What do I think of online education? I mean, I've taken a class or two online. I mean, I think it's good so long as you have the self-control to like actually be able to manage your classwork. Because like if you can't do that, then definitely should not be allowed, not even allowed, definitely should not allow yourself to take these online classes. Just because it's, oops, just because you kind of need the discipline to hold yourself accountable for turning in that paper or attending that Zoom session. I mean, I guess if it's completely asynchronous, you still have to turn in your work on time. I mean, if you can handle yourself, then by all means, like, go ahead. I don't. You can take online courses because it's probably cheaper. It's probably quicker than in-person stuff. I mean, it's also kind of more, what's the isolating, I guess. It's because you're in your room doing these things rather than in a classroom with peers and stuff. I mean, it has its pros and cons. Do you think you can do it? And by all means, go ahead. But it definitely takes a higher level of discipline than most normal in-person classes would probably need. Okay, next. Um, hmm. There we go. One more question about education. My least favorite subject. Probably English, but definitely. It's either English or art. But I'm gonna have to go with English. Because even in art, you don't necessarily have to be a good artist to be good at art, I guess. Like, both English and art are subjective, which I think is kind of why I dislike both of them. Because even if you think you do a great job, it's up to the person reading your paper or looking at your art to agree. So it's like, I think you have an easier time getting an artist to agree than I would like an English teacher to agree with me. So even though I disliked both, I think I dislike English more. Just because there's so much more, like, not necessarily vague, maybe uncertainty. Because I feel like I could be writing a magnum opus or whatever, but if my teacher disagrees with my position, that inherently puts a bias against them. I know they're not supposed to, but like, you can't be 100% certain that they don't take off an extra point for something just because your position is different from their own. So, English. English is my least favorite subject. Next question. Oh, crack. This is a good one. Do I prefer traveling alone or with a group? Well, I think it depends. I think majority of the time, probably say with a group. Of course, it kind of depends on. Well, no, I think just generally in a group. I prefer traveling in a group. You know, like a group of friends, family, or whatever. Like, I kind of know my role. And I always have other people to fall back on in case something happens. Whereas if I am alone, it's just me and stuck. I mean, I'll definitely say with the group, even if it means I don't necessarily get to do all the things I want to do. I'm a pretty easy person to please, so it doesn't take much for me to be happy. I think as long as the majority of the group is happy, I'm pretty happy. Unless I'm vehemently like against doing something. But otherwise, yeah, traveling in a group. The question was easier than I thought it would be. But then I expected it to be. And I pull it up. Something popular now that annoys you. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of social media. TikTok especially. I think it's stupid, frankly. People doing dumb things in public and stuff. I think it's just social media has increased, I think, the amount of both negativity, people trying to get attention and annoying others, like that stuff, and also like reckless actions trying to get attention. So it's like, not the biggest fan of that sort of stuff. I'm not a big fan of stupid people, and social media I find tends to attract stupid people. And then the stupid people get rich and famous doing stupid things, which just causes more people to do the stupid things, which is annoying. So, I mean, popular social media, specifically TikTok, is something that is popular but annoys me. I've never done TikTok. So, yeah. This is a fun one. What TV show would I like my life to be like? I mean, two things kind of come to mind right away, and that would be like The Mandalorian or Phineas and Ferb. I mean, I think both are fairly obvious for their own reasons. Phineas and Ferb, you kind of just hanging out with your friends, building cool stuff, having fun, wondering where your pet platypus is going. So it's like, yeah, I think that who wouldn't want that? And on the other hand, you got like The Mandalorian, Star Wars, big fan of, which I am a big fan of. Being able to fly around the galaxy. A bit more dangerous than Phineas and Ferb, yes. But I feel like I could probably manage to stay out of trouble to a certain extent. At least. But I had to pick one. I think I'd go with probably Phineas and Ferb. Just because I have a much less chance of dying. I mean, Phineas and Ferb were kind of locked into a good life. With Star Wars, like you get stuck on some like garbage planet. Like, technically, it's great, love it, but I would not in a million years ever want to live there. It's so hot and sand and stuff. It's just not want to live there. So I guess Phineas and Ferb would be my answer. I'm running out of good topics. So moving on to the next random question generator. Alright. If you could rid the world of one disease, what would it be? Well, I guess that depends on what is classified as a disease. Let me look it up. What classifies as a disease? Disease is a particular abnormal condition that adversely affects the structure or function of all or part of an organism and is not immediately due to an external injury. Diseases are often known to be medical conditions that are associated with specific signs and symptoms. Is the flu a disease? The flu is a disease, so therefore I would probably get rid of the flu. I feel like that's a pretty safe one. Everyone gets the flu in their lives. We just got rid of it entirely. Although you'd have to wonder if there could be like adverse effects to that, because like if everyone gets the disease, everyone gets the flu at some point in their lives, that means their immune systems are obviously like strong enough to fight the flu. So it's like if I got rid of the flu, would our immune systems just get weaker? Actually, not receptive. Would our immune systems just get weaker? Because we've lost like one of the common building blocks of our disease defense without the flu. It makes you think they go after like something maybe not as common. Smallpox or measles or something. No, measles is gone. Smallpox, I think. It's the one that's still around. I don't know. I think I'd probably still go with the flu. And risk the potential consequences of a weakened immune system and stuff. That's a really good question. Okay. Favorite day of the week? I could go through them. I don't think it's Monday. I mean, it's probably not Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday either. Let's leave Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I think I'm gonna go with Saturday. Because Saturday means you got the whole weekend ahead of you. You know, that entire day, and then another one after that. So that's just a good feeling to have. Saturday's like the beginning of breaks and stuff. It's not Sunday, which is the end of the break. You have to go back to work or school on a Monday. On Saturday, that means you've just gotten your weekend started. So, yeah, like a Saturday. This is a good one. Oops. Didn't work. There we go. Alright. I've just got $1 million. The very first thing I do. I mean, honestly, realistically, put it away, put it in the bank, just because, like, I don't typically spend a lot of money. I think I'm pretty frugal. Not that I don't spend money, but it's not a super often that I do. I mean, obviously, it'd be a nice thing to have. But I mean, I can like, put it away. Start getting interest on it and stuff. Like, pay off school loans and stuff. That's probably what I do. I'd pay off all my loans, then put the rest away. I mean, it was kind of a boring answer. I mean, it's definitely not a bad one, I don't think. Let's see on the next one. This is fun. I think this is going to be kind of a boring one, but what time do I normally go to bed? I'm typically asleep, or at least in bed, sometime between the 10 to 11 o'clock range. Because I normally wake up pretty early, like 5, 6 o'clock. So I go to bed fairly early to compensate for it. You gotta get your 8 hours. And of course, granted, that's if I don't fall asleep prematurely and then wake up like 2:30. So, yeah. Quick, simple question. Let's see. This is a fun one. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, what is the weirdest dream I've ever had? I'll say, when I was younger, I used to get nightmares almost every night. So, I mean, now that I'm older, I don't really get nightmares. I mean, if I do, I'm typically sensible enough to wake myself up before, like, it gets too bad. So, I don't know if I have, like, more recent dreams yet. Like, when I was younger, I had a lot of nightmares. So I kind of forced myself to stop dreaming. So I very rarely dream nowadays. That's one of the dreams that stuck out for me the most. And I still remember to this day. I think it's a fairly odd dream. But I'm like running around in my backyard, And of course, I'm a bit younger here, like 8 or 9 years old, and there's thud, thud, the ground is shaking, thud, thud. I'm running inside. I'm hiding inside my house. Our kitchen, I'm hiding in our kitchen, which is fairly open, like windows on two sides. So, I mean, it's not a great place to hide, but I'm hiding in there. Boom, boom, shake, shake, ground shaking. And through the trees comes this giant Barney-like dinosaur. Listen, I don't think I'm particularly afraid of dinosaurs. Well, I'm not afraid of dinosaurs, but I don't know, maybe little me was. Boom, boom, he comes stopped directly over our house, naturally because of my dream. And he looks down, and he looks in, and I think he does the classic, like, no, actually, I think I try to run away. Well, I exit my house. And so, this giant Barney-like dinosaur, a big purple dinosaur, picks me up and puts me in its mouth. And you think at this point, oh no, I'm getting eaten, I'm getting swallowed, chewed. No, there's a dentist chair in its mouth. And again, I'm also not particularly afraid of the dentist. I mean, yes, it's unpleasant, but I'm not like afraid of the dentist. So, like, it's not scary, I guess. Getting picked up by a giant purple dinosaur, like taller than the pine trees outside of your house. And getting put into its mouth is pretty scary. But then getting put into a dentist chair that's like on its tongue, I don't know, that kind of loses it for me now. But I feel like at that point I woke up, so I'm not really sure if I got my teeth operated on or anything. But still, I think all the dreams I've had, it's definitely one of the weirder ones that I can remember at least. I'll say I'm still not feeling quite 100%. So probably gonna end Mewtwo Monday a bit earlier than I normally do. We still got time for like one more question. So let's pull up another question. This is an interesting question, although I don't think I will have an interesting answer. Who's the most famous person I have ever met? I mean, I guess it kind of depends on your definition of meeting. I've been in the same room as some famous quote people. I know I've seen a celebrity or two at Disney World. I've run into a few YouTubers with a decent number of subscribers. I've been in the same room as the governor of Georgia and a bunch of like executives at powerful companies like in Georgia. Maybe not didn't. Well, maybe. It's like I don't have many interactions with like celebrities, I don't think. Except, I mean, I've been in the same room as some famous YouTubers, and I've seen like famous people at the Disney parks, like Walt Disney World. But I definitely never like gone up and introduced myself or anything, or like taken a picture. So, interesting question. Unfortunately, an uninteresting answer. I think that's gonna be the final question. Or right. So we will finish this reset. And that's a no. Alright. Well, that's gonna put an end to this stream. I will be live later this week where we finally finish the Meloetta stuff. Got my friend to trade with me those last few what are they called? Violet exclusives. So we'll finish that up next. And after that, I guess, is the continuation of Cramorant only run in Shield. And Mewtwo Monday again next Monday. I should be back to doing 3 streams a week because I'm feeling a bit better, although it's not 100%. So we'll see. I might only do 2. Hopefully, we can get all 3 done this week. Yeah, I'll probably go live either Wednesday or Thursday. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.